Facility Programs Manager, and I'm here with
Gary Bilbro, Director of Sales for the U.S. for EcoSafe.
the famous Gary Bilbro. About yourself, how long have you been working with EcoSafe, and what do you like about working for EcoSafe Zero Waste?
Whew, what don't I like? I mean, I've been with EcoSafe for 6 years now. It's been an incredible ride so far. It's really been exciting to see the changes in the industry and the growth of the industry. And you know, when I came on, I was just a sales director or sales manager in the eastern part of the United States. We had someone work in the western part. Now I handle the entire country. So to see all that growth and all the opportunity, love doing it because I love the ability to educate people on all the benefits of organics diversion and composting.
Who is your favorite composter that you work with?
Oh, gosh, don't want to make anybody mad because there's so many great composters out there. I was recently, as a matter of fact, up in Massachusetts and had the opportunity for the first time in a long relationship to meet with Colin and Justin and the folks from Black Earth Compost. They handle collections and composting and processing all over Massachusetts, and they also go into some parts of Rhode Island and Maine and New Hampshire. So really big outfit, really great opportunity for them to be able to help divert material in the Boston area. They're building a new facility in Manchester by the Sea.
Ooh.
That will be able to process, I believe they said, up to 20,000 tons a year of food waste to create compost. So right now, that's one of the exciting ones I have, but I do love all the composters we work with across the country. McGill Compost on the southeast, just so many great companies. Denali does some great composting, and there's just so many. I can tell you one thing, Missouri Organics in Kansas City is doing some exceptional things nowadays. They're kind of on the forefront of trying to do R&D work and researching and finding out, as new products are created, how well do they compost and how easily do they compost. So I love working with Missouri Organics as well.
Wow. And what do clients often come to you with in terms of problems, and what are the typical solutions that you provide?
Well, everything about getting organic material away from the waste generator, which could be a residence, could be a multi-residence facility, could be a restaurant, hospital, hotel, school, you name it. Anywhere where food is prepared, is eaten, or is processed, then there's going to be food waste. So the idea is to be able to get that food waste, or whatever is edible, get it to somebody who could use it to feed themselves, or to feed hungry animals, or to feed even areas where they can feed, like pig farms and places like that. It's always a good opportunity. Just keeping it out of the landfill is the best thing to do. But when it comes to composting, the stuff that can't be eaten, what you want to try to do is you want to try to do the biggest bang for the buck. So what I've found out, and with some of the most successful programs that I've worked with, have been the schools. Because if you can teach an elementary school or a junior high school student, or even a high school student or a college student, if you can teach them all about the benefits of diverting that food waste from a landfill, environmental benefits, financial benefits, just the benefits to the community, to job creation, things like that, and guess what? They do it the rest of their lives. So as they go out there and they grow, then they grow the opportunities for doing composting throughout their entire life. And that's really where the biggest bang for the buck has come, in teaching students and teaching colleges, universities, and grade schools, K through 12. I get some of the parents, a little bit upset with me sometimes because they are like, "What are you teaching my child? They're telling me I can't throw away my food waste at home." So, but it is one of the best things for about this job, and one of the most successful things that I do is working with all the schools.
So EcoSafe impact, incredible. I'm wondering, especially with students, do you talk about contamination? So an example of contamination is something like this. Classic produce sticker that you find on vegetables and things, twist ties, things like that. Do the kids know about contamination? Do they have an interaction when you tell them the issues that composters are having?
Yeah, and one of the great things, and I can tell you this, the easiest group of citizens that we have, the people out there in this world, in our communities, to teach is the younger kids, because they get it. They don't have all of these preset limitations to what they do, and they haven't learned all these bad habits. So contamination is one of the things that they actually help the process. In some of the schools that I've worked with in North Carolina and South Carolina, I recently did a big project in Charleston, South Carolina with Smart Recycling, and what they did is they actually had some of the students wanted to volunteer to be bin monitors. So they want to sit there next to the bins as the other students are coming across and putting the right stuff in the right bin. So making sure they're putting the recycling and the composting in the right bin, and then when it's ever left over that can't be recycled or compost goes in the trash. And they love being able to volunteer to be bin monitors. So that's really cool to see. So they understand, not only do they ask a lot of questions about what should I be telling them that can't go in the compost bin, they also learn more about recycling, and they learn more about actually why, if we're throwing these away in the trash all the time, why do we use them? Why do we use things that have to go to the trash? So it actually makes the school districts and the cafeteria workers and all those people start thinking, well, why do we buy those things? If it's contamination, maybe we shouldn't buy this product. So things like produce stickers, twist ties, the things that you get a lot from residential and from commercial residents and restaurants, it is an issue. And I think the best thing that we can do is to say, if it's meant to be eaten, it can more than likely be composted. If it came from nature, it's going to go back to nature. But if it's man-made, if it's a plastic sticker or a twist tie with metal in it, you just pretty much common sense know that it wasn't made to be eaten, so it shouldn't be composted.
What are some pro tips that you can provide the schools and the custodial staff in terms of the use of our bags and waste systems and things like that?
Sure. I can tell you that bags in a composting setting just makes total sense. A lot of people think that the bags just shouldn't be used because it doesn't make sense to spend the money for putting a compostable bag in a liner, and you're just going to put a bunch of food waste in it, and it's only going to be used one time, which is actually the reason why you want to use a compostable bag. One, it's keeping all of that material contained in a bag. Two, it's making sure that all that material is handled properly from the time it leaves that bin and it gets to the processing facility. That entire process, that material is encapsulated in that bag. And that bag won't start to decay until it gets into a composting environment, industrial compost environment, where it gets up to temperature and starts to decay. So it makes everything cleaner. You're talking about a very, very nasty part of the waste stream. Typically, it's the wettest, it's the heaviest, it's the nastiest. It's the ones that most people throw their trash bags into the trash outside. It's not because it's got a lot of paper and plastics in it, it's because it's got a lot of food waste in it. So it keeps people from using too many trash bags, and it increases recycling because it actually gets people thinking about what can be diverted and not. So my tip to schools, my tip to custodial staffs and cafeteria staffs, my number one tip is make sure you're lining your bins, keeping those bins clean, because you don't want to have to scrub it and use all that water and waste all that water and have it going down the drain to the wastewater treatment facility. None of that is good for the environment or good for time and effort in trying to do composting. Keeping it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, especially for the kids. You may have to be telling the staff a little bit more, the teachers and the administrative staff, a little bit more on how to do it than the kids, because you just tell the kids once, they pretty much do it right.
And do the haulers favor the schools that use our bags? I've heard word on the street is that some compostable bags and liners that are being used out there, some places they're actually double banging the bins because they're finding there's leakage and problems like that. But with EcoSafe bags, you only need one. So what have you heard from haulers out there? I know Gary talks to lots of haulers. He's been a hauler himself. So what are some of the benefits that you've heard from other haulers about programs that are using ours?
So one of the things that I hear from some of the haulers that I work the most with is they say that the great part about it is when the composter sees the EcoSafe bag come out of their truck full of food waste, they know that that customer, that waste generator that put stuff in that bag has been properly trained. Because with the EcoSafe programs, we educate the waste generators. We provide signage, educational material. We have online versions of educational material. We have signage you can download. So we make sure the waste generator is fully educated on what can and can't go in that bag. So they know that not only the material in that bag is going to be good to go and it can be composted, but they also know the bag itself is going to decompose in the time frame in a manner that they need, and that's what they want. They don't want a bag that's going to have to come out in the end and be sent to a landfill or whatever else. They want a bag when they finish compost process, that bag is gone. And that's what EcoSafe does. It decomposes at the same rate that the food waste does.
Yeah, that's it. That's why we have the CMA certification to prove the decomposition that does happen with our bags. And we're certified across all commercial composting systems. So that's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have an in-vessel system, if you have an ASP system, or if you have a windrow system. Our bags will decay in that commercial composting environment, with the time frame allowed.
We're also hearing about depackagers being installed in some composting systems. Can you comment a little bit about that?
EcoSafe has gone through 20 plus years of perfecting the manufacturing of compostable products, and we painstakingly made sure that all of our products are BPI certified, are CMA certified, so they're composter approved. The problem that we have is the fact that it's difficult to get the composters to realize that they can use our bags. They can put our bags into their process. It's not going to have any negative effect whatsoever on their end product. But there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't do that. But it may be labeled compostable or biodegradable, and it ends up in the waste stream. And as a composter in the past myself, I know you don't want to get anything in as a feedstock that doesn't decay, right? That doesn't decompose properly in the time frame necessary. And it doesn't leave any microplastics or any nasty stuff left behind. So people put in these depackagers, and the depackagers play a good role in as far as being able to make sure that any contamination that's in there gets pulled out before it gets into the process. And I'm okay with that as long as they look at what comes out of that depackager and they do compost what they then know can be composted, because they have the ability to look at that material as it's come out of the depackager. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to send all that compostable material, which a lot of it is, to the landfill. You're just paying for something you shouldn't. Best thing to do is to take that stuff, go through it a little bit better with a fine-tooth comb, because you don't have all the food waste anymore. You're just dealing with what's left over.
We do have a blog actually on our website that talks about how buildings can reduce their tipping fees just by starting a food scraps collection program for compost in their buildings and in whatever setting they're in. So that's a big benefit to starting composting if you haven't started yet. And our big goal is to make composting second nature. We want to make this easy for you. So if you haven't started, please reach out to our team. We can help anywhere in any setting in North America. So that's what we're here to do, right?
Exactly right. We can help you get started. If you haven't already, please let us help you, because we know what we're doing.
We know what we're doing. Make it cleaner for you, more efficient. We want to make your processes less smelly. And me personally, I know Gary as well, we care about the health of the planet. And the best part about being in the compost industry is that we're helping build more opportunities for healthier soil, which grows better food, which we gotta eat. And it's really exciting time. So thanks so much, Gary, for letting me bug your brain. And stay tuned for more content in the future as we continue growing this wonderful composting mission.
Happy composting.
Happy composting.